I saw you.
Can't work with you like this.
I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting there chilling. Don't mind me.
And people want us to do video. No.
Why not?
You know why.
What?
You can't edit video the way you can edit audio. They don't really need to know what I deal with.
Just leave for a bunch of really curious people.
Those who know you know.
Yeah, but not everyone knows me, so.
You just don't care.
I do. I really do. Keeps me up at night.
See, if we were on video,
Bothers me.
They would see the look on your face.
Tears streaking down to my pillow.
Wow.
Concern.
Wow. You're going to make this microphone unplug itself and run out the room.
That would be a heck of a trick.
It doesn't want to get caught in the tidal wave that's about to come through here.
What tidal wave?
The tidal wave that comes and washes away all those who exaggerate and lie.
Wow.
Tears.
That's what you're saying?
Tears streaming down your eyes.
Soaking my pillow.
Just say you don't care.
But I do care. I care deeply.
Your body language doesn't match your words. So how do I know that you actually care?
I care because my actions
okay,
don't
now
match
your
my
tone
body language.
is not... If you would come off stage and turn off the spotlight, I might actually believe you.
I'm just trying to tell the people that I do care.
Well, let's find out how much.
I'm right here. What else you want?
Just the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
What, that I care?
We'll see. Welcome to For This Reason. I'm Bird.
And I'm Fish of BNF Ministry.
Thank you for joining us today as we further discuss God's definition of marriage then
and how it still applies to us today.
We hope this time together is enjoyable and educational.
Nah.
Yeah, no.
Let's just have a good time.
So today's conversation is somewhat of a repeat for us, but it's been a while since we had this conversation and I became a little curious about it again because after speaking with several people in the same week about this issue, kind of thought maybe we should talk about it again. So today's topic is, what do you hear when he or she says, I don't care? Now we've added she because when we originally had this conversation in our focus group, it kind of sounded like a man problem where we were hearing from the wives that, you know, he said, I didn't care or he doesn't care. It doesn't matter. And we saw that it was really an issue. What's funny is our being on the outside looking in, we didn't necessarily catch the offense of the response because, I mean, we were looking at it, I guess, with a bird's eye view. Mm-hmm. So we kind of could see the different things that a person may not see being close up to the situation. But it was just funny at the time to hear the wives saying, you know, well, when I say da-da-da-da-da or I ask a certain question, he's always like, I don't care. And then we found out at the end of that there are some husbands mm-hmm. who are suffering from hearing I don't care as a response. So we're going to pose that question today. What do you hear when he or she responds with, I don't care?
Well, I think a lot of times when people hear that, they totally misread the response. And I think sometimes they forget the question that they ask. For example, if the question is, what do you want for dinner? A lot of guys, especially, will, I don't care. That is not, do you want to go to dinner with me that he's answering. That is not, do you enjoy dining with me that he's answering. What he's answering is, what do you want to eat?
Now, that's unfair that you went straight to that mountain.
Because that's generally the mountain that we start with. That's the most traveled mountain.
Be, yes.
I'm not saying that it ain't the whole mountain range out there. But what I'm saying is that for some perverse reason, married couples seem to keep going to that mountain.
Sounds like you're saying that there are a few Israelites out there still going around that same mountain.
They have built an altar on it. They're offering sacrifices. I saw some of them melting down some earrings and somebody saying something about a golden cup.
Wow. Okay, well, we need that for utensils at the table. Anyway.
What, a golden calf?
No, you were going with the golden calf. I was trying to turn it because I care.
Okay, good luck with that.
Well, all jokes aside. What was funny was the biggest thing was about dinner. You know,
or eating
together. And the husbands were responding, it's not about eating together. And it was funny to watch the wives still somewhat interpret it as they don't want to be with them. We even put in a rule, I don't know if you remember, ladies, you can't respond. You just have to read and accept what's being said, you know, hear their side. You cannot respond. Not that
just about
they listened. I know. A few of them did it anyway.
Some of them still have a nervous tick from that.
Well, but it was kind of good because what they ended up saying was, "Oh wow, really?" And they had some questions from it. We had a couple who still tried to, you know, turn the conversation, but our intent prevailed, you know, to get an understanding. Like, okay, let's talk about these 3 words that don't say "I love you." We interpret it as saying the opposite, and that's not always the case. Now, I'm not talking about someone who's saying I don't care in the heat of the moment of an argument, and they're literally being offensive.
But you broke my leg. I don't care. That's not what we're talking about.
Right. So what we're actually talking about is, I kind of look at it sometimes like it's a knee-jerk response. Because you don't really think about it. Because you really haven't thought about it. Don't really want to think about it. It's not a priority.
And I don't intend to think about it.
Well.
Because generally when a question like that is asked, it's something that, for the person responding, I don't care, generally it doesn't have an impact on their lives. And sometimes you don't even have the mental capacity to think about it on that level. Okay, when we moved into the first place that we went to,
okay,
and you were asking me, what color do you want in the living room? I really, honestly, truly did not care.
I learned a lot about you in that process.
It didn't bother me. The color of the living room, with a few very noted exceptions, didn't bother me. And I'm not created in a way that I can look at a living room and go, if it were mint green, then I would feel this way. But if it were lavender, then I would feel that way.
Now that would concern me
then
if
I would
you
feel
did.
that way. But if it were a gentle salmon, then I'm not created to see walls with multiple colors in my mind and sort of forecast how I would decorate it and all that. It is not something that I am capable of doing. The good Lord gave me a few things to do that I do fairly well. That's not one of them.
Okay, well, here is something that I can now, moving forward, contribute to this situation, because at the time we were newlyweds, really learning how to live with each other. And I can say today, I believe I was still trying to figure out how to get a response out of you, meaning you're so mild-mannered most of the time. A lot of things do not get to you, but I wasn't used to that. I came from animated, you know, and so you've met the family, you know.
So this is because of your picker. I got you.
Back to the broken picker. Was my picker broken when? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I mean,
wow.
You said it. Do we have to go back to the
No.
Continue.
Okay. So where I was at that time was trying to figure out how to please you as well as me in a situation where both our opinions mattered. What I didn't understand was you had the right to say just how much your opinion mattered in that particular situation. Not overall, but just in that particular situation. So working with you on that, I learned not to bring a whole lot of options to you, not to drag you from store to store.
You could, but you wouldn't do it twice.
I didn't do it at all. Actually, I started discerning some things and wisdom fell upon me as to how far to take it. It was the work of the Lord, and it was marvelous. He was speaking for you. He was speaking for you. Because in all truth and honesty, looking back on it, I'm thinking, wow, what was going on in my mind? And the fairy tale stuff was going on in my mind. You know, the things that society says newlyweds should be doing. And you know, everything should be joint at the beginning, right? And what's so funny is that's not necessarily my personality, but I was playing into it because, well, geez, we're here now. We're newlyweds and we need to act like newlyweds, you know? And when you watch these moments play out in movies or, you know, sitcoms or whatever, well, I shouldn't say sitcoms because they would make fun of it, but just when you watch these things or you hear people talking about them, there's supposed to be this mutual excitement. Yes, honey, let's do this together. And it's not what I got, but what I got, I realized wasn't bad either. It was just not what I was expecting.
What you were taught to expect. And
that was the next step. Why was I expecting that? Well, because somewhere I learned that that's what I was supposed to get. You were supposed to be doing this part together. So in your I don't cares, I learned that you weren't talking about me. You weren't saying that you didn't care about the end result. You just didn't care about the work of choosing a color.
Yeah. The wall is going to be painted. And at some point in time, it's going to be a very nice, very fresh color. True,
but where I was worried was knowing that whatever I picked, I think it was the weight of the responsibility falling on me. What if I pick something that you just growl at every time you walk in the door? There's truth in color affecting your environment, affecting your mindset and things like that. So you're trying to pick things that's going to set the tone that you want in your home.
But that's where you knowing me comes in. You're not going to paint the wall red. And
now that we agreed because unfortunately we had red waiting for us when we walked in.
Exactly.
So we knew right away that was something we agreed on, get rid of the red. You know, that was a no-brainer. The other shocker was what the yellow did to you. You didn't complain directly, but I learned that when you make a comment consistently over and over and over and over.
Doesn't even sound like me.
Woo! And here, next week we'll talk about telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Well, it wasn't a yellow. As much as it looked like a mustard color that had been left outside in bad weather and come down.
Part of that was lighting, which we dealt with. We changed that out as well. It
looked like a mustard color that was suffering from severe dysentery.
Well, here's where I got confused. If you could be...
It looked like a mustard color that needed salvation.
Here we go. Moving on.
It looked... Okay, continue.
Are we done? We're done?
No,
okay.
but
we're finished
please
here?
continue.
We can move on?
We can.
Okay. All right.
But if I think of a good one, I'll let you know.
Here's where I got confused. Because if you could be that adamant about what you don't like, why couldn't you be clear about what you did like?
Because the way I am created again, I can only hold that much passionate opinion about a select few things and be the person I am. If I felt that opinionated about everything that I encountered, I would not be the person that you married. We wouldn't have gotten married. I don't think
I want to see you like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
After putting in this much time and really knowing who you are, I think that would be a turnoff for me.
The things that I don't like, I really, really don't like.
We know.
Conversely, the things that I do like, I really, really do like. You would not be able to deal with me if I told you every single thing that I did like about every single thing that we encountered.
Okay, so let's go back to the mountain that these Israelites keep going around about dinner.
All right.
So here's what I learned about you in this same process. What do you want for dinner?
I don't care.
Right. I too had to sit and think, well, what does he mean when he says I don't care? What if I cook something that he really didn't want, and now he's picking on his plate, or I see you scooting the peas over to the side.
Plan on using them as ammunition in my slingshot.
Or I would hear about it not directly from you, but let's just say I hear you making a comment about it to a friend over the phone. Yeah, she put those peas on my plate, knowing I don't like peas. Well, you never said you don't like peas. When I asked you what you wanted to eat, you said you didn't care.
Oh, is that a car wreck?
Anyway.
It's saving that one up my sleeve. There are two people who are going to listen to this podcast and know exactly what I just said. The rest of you just know it's very funny.
So here's what I learned with the whole what do you want for dinner and I don't care is the response. I don't ask you what do you want for dinner and leave it just there. What do you want for dinner is like an opener. Hey, I want you to start thinking about dinner. Start gathering some ideas about dinner. 9 times out of 10, both of us say either we don't know or we don't care. True?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've gotten past the point of worrying about, does that mean you don't want to eat with me? We've grown past that. I don't really think we were ever really there.
But a lot of couples, that is the problem. That you don't care enough to put thought into how we're going to spend time.
Right. And it has nothing to do with that. They're literally two separate things, but somebody has to say that, I've learned, to some people. So if I want to know what you want for dinner, I think we both do this. We start throwing out suggestions. You feel like fish tonight?
No.
Okay. Go back to the drawing board. How about pork chops?
No.
Wait, did you just say no to pork chops?
Well, not tonight.
See, pork chops was a winner all the time. Now you got me worried. So what is it?
But not tonight. And that's the thing.
I got you. And that's where I learned that it had no reflection on me. You weren't saying, I don't feel like being bothered with you right now. Oh, God, save me from having to sit at the table across from her for 45 minutes, That's not what you were saying. You were like, whatever you put on a plate, I'm generally good with.
And I think sometimes it's important to understand, especially for guys, for me, I think guys in general, but for me personally, there are 2 separate dinners in my mind. One is a dinner because I have to eat because my human body requires food. Doesn't really matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news is I get to eat it with you. So whatever it is doesn't bother me. The important thing is I'm home and I'm eating that dinner with you.
You know what was hard for me with that? Believing that that's how you felt about me.
Yeah.
The reward in it was I'm still going to be with you. And that was hard for me to believe because, first of all, who talks that way? Nobody I knew. Nobody in my circle. So
for me, the important thing is, I'm eating dinner with you. What's on the table doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do this thing to survive. I will do it with you because it's spending time with you, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
The other definition of dinner for me is when we're going out to do something special or celebrate something or just to have a little bit of special time, away. Us time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that, a lot of times, is where I do care.
Yeah.
Because now I care about what I eat because I want to eat something specific. I cannot do that every single day, but on the days that I do, I will. But even on days where it doesn't really matter, there's still some things I don't want.
Yeah. Now, the shoe was placed on the other foot for me, and I don't know if you picked up on this. You started looking and sounding like me when it came down to what do you want to watch tonight? And I would say, oh, I don't care. But if you put on something that I don't have the least bit of interest in, Lord help us if I can't stand the sound of the person's voice on whatever show you pick. Now I'm speaking up like, why did you put that on?
But you see,
because you said you didn't care.
But see, that's the difference, though, because I never did that to you with food.
No,
I never came to you.
But that's what makes it funny.
Why did you cook this?
No, and thank you. That's why we're still married. But but here's what's funny.
Who wanted chicken fricassee anyway?
Baby, I've never made... Don't have these people thinking that you know what? Never mind.
That's why I picked something you hadn't cooked. I'm funny looking, but I'm not stupid.
Gotcha. But what was funny was it works that way with something else. You know, what are we watching on TV? I didn't see it at first, but then it was funny because one day you got frazzled with me about it, and I'm looking at you like, it's really not that serious. Just don't put this guy on. Like, and I started having flashbacks about some of your I don't care moments where I was taking it personal. And I won't even say you were taking my I don't care personal. It was just, wait a minute, I gave you an opportunity to choose and you forfeited. And now you have an opinion about the choice. And I'm going, yeah. But I didn't know at the time that I was going to have an opinion until you chose something. And that's when I went back to, oh, that's what you mean. Like, sometimes you don't know until something actually happens that triggers your response.
And so sometimes I think to get away from that, you can change the question. You can say, what do you not want to eat for dinner? Because a lot of times if you ask me that, I can tell you that.
We can both do that,
And a lot of times it's based on what I had for lunch. If I had fish for lunch and I do not want fish.
Or even just what we've had in the past few days.
If I had chicken for lunch, I may not necessarily want chicken. If it's fish, I want it.
Yeah.
But chicken for lunch, I may not want chicken for dinner or something along those lines. So you can ask me, what don't you feel like eating? And that may get us to a solution.
More defined response, yeah.
But again, for me, that even goes down to the paint color. I know I don't want red. I know I don't want any sort of neon blue. So I know the things that I don't want. Pretty much anything else that you do is perfectly fine. And that's what I think we learned at the first place. Because I was sitting there and I told you, I remember the conversation. I said, if you had painted this wall that color in another room, that would have been fine too. And I think that's where you started to get it. That it wasn't about what color it was for me. It's about what color you didn't paint. That's where I was worried about. But once you avoided the colors that I didn't want, and once you avoided the options that I didn't want, it was a whole lot easier. Because I don't care doesn't mean I don't care about our house and our household and all of that. For me, what it means is whatever color is painted will make me happy. There's no color within the realm of colors that we understand I can deal with will upset me. So therefore, whatever color you pick, I don't care. It's not going to change our relationship.
Right.
So just like that with food, what do you want me to cook for dinner? Whatever you cook for dinner is not going to change our marriage. I'm not going to go call my buddy. I can't believe she cooked chicken again last night, bro. I don't know. Anybody know a good divorce? I can't do
that. I can't do that to myself.
Anybody know a good divorce lawyer? It's not that kind of party.
Yeah.
It's not going to change who we are. Even if you cook something that I don't enjoy, it's not, unless you do it on purpose. In which case, that's a whole different thing. But if you cook something and I don't like it, then okay, I don't like it. But
I can't. Hold on. What don't you like? I think maybe, and I'm stretching it. If I say maybe twice, you may have expressed a disliking of something, and not just because I cooked it. Just it was something on your I don't like list that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And we've been together for a while, so I have to say that's still an A on my report card. I'm kidding. I said it that way because a lot of times we respond as if though somebody's going to come and say, hey, you passed that. Here's your grade. Or you failed. You need to do that again.
To put your A in proper context, you have met my mom, right?
I have met your mom.
Pretty much you put it on the plate, I'm going to eat it. That's just the way this is going to be. That's how I live to be as old as I am right now.
Well, it helps that she can cook, so.
That is true, but me not eating, for any of you Caribbean or Guyanese-based people, it's called making styles on the food. And that's like you turning up your nose on your mom's cooking. That is one of the worst insults that you could put on someone as a child.
It's very unhealthy, isn't it? In more ways than one.
It changes about a half of a week of school for you, I can tell you that much. It makes you a whole lot more likely to sit up and take notice, if you get my drift.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that we had a chance, or we gave each other the opportunity to really understand what was being said when we hear the words, I don't care. And it's generally, too, the way you have always carried yourself. I never thought that you would say anything to intentionally offend me or hurt me. So it made me question, why is he answering me like that? But I had to start really thinking about, well, Cherie, why are you triggered when you hear it? And it just comes from, again, a lot of times we have to go back to how were we taught how to communicate and what did our communication look like before we got married. I come from a family where choices and decisions are judged. You know, we've gotten better with that in the present times, but the majority of our experience with one another has been where you're careful with your choices and decisions, especially if you have to share it, because somebody's going to have something to say about it.
No, and I do understand that. But for me, and the way I was brought up, sifting through all of the possible permutations for dinner takes work and effort because I put thought into things, sometimes too much thought into things. And for me to put that much thought into something that's really not going to change my life is not a good allocation of resources. Putting a lot of energy into something that doesn't matter. So if you cook spinach, or if you cook broccoli, or if you cook corn, or if you cook peas for the vegetable, is not really going to change my life. So
well, I figured out what your favorite is and that's when I say, well, when you ask me, hey, what are you making for dinner? And I say, I have no idea. And you're like, oh, well, it's going to be great. Oh, you used to bug me with because I didn't know what I was going to do. I was making it up with whatever was in the kitchen.
That's the good stuff, right?
Apparently, because you get excited when I just kind of go in there and say, well, what's in here? And then we come up with something. But I can't lose, in this situation. I figured out. So why do I respond as if though I am losing?
And especially after the conversation's had. If you did not have the conversation, if you did not have a discussion where you discussed food likes and dislikes, then I can see that being a problem. But if you've had that conversation, if you know these are the things that my wife just does not like me to cook, then I don't know is a very freeing answer. Because what it pretty much means is you can cook anything you want. As long as we end up having dinner together tonight, I'm happy.
Yeah. I'm glad we had this conversation again. And I hope that we've been able to help some people. And I know we kept it at some very generic examples, but try applying some of the things that we shared in this discussion with your current situation, how you feel when you hear, I don't care. And of course, like we always say, you can email us questions or send in some examples, some personal examples, and we'll talk about it further. In the meantime, just do your best to see beyond the words that are being said and take your partner's personality and love for you overall into consideration. One of the things that Daryl loves to share with the couples we counsel is please know and understand that your spouse doesn't wake up every day plotting and scheming on how to hurt you today. What can I do to upset?
Most spouses don't. There are
healthy relationships.
There are some out there on record that do, but generally, if you're listening to this, that's not your spouse. But understand also that when you're asking a question and you get the I don't care response, keep in mind the question that you asked. You asked them, what do you want for dinner? You asked them, what movie do you want to go see? You did not ask them, how do you feel about me as a human being? You did not ask them, do you want me in your life for the rest of your life? You asked them a very specific question that they answered to the best of their abilities, given the time and resources they had. Do not read into their answer other things, because that's where your imagination comes in. You have to trust in God that your spouse is actually answering the question you asked them.
And if they didn't give you an answer, what I've learned is that gives you the freedom to go be creative and do what it is you want to do. Go try that recipe you've been wanting to try.
But do not be petty.
Sir,
Because
yes.
I know some of you out there. Oh yeah? Well, he said he didn't care, so liver it is. You know that Joker don't like liver.
No, that was a TikTok, honey. Remember I showed it to you where she brought I don't care on the plate on the face.
But I know some people who would be like, he said he didn't care, so you gonna get this liver today.
Oh my goodness.
Don't be that person.
Liver's too specific. Let's not. Yeah, no.
Okay, I don't like liver. I know you can keep all of your comments and emails on that one. I've had different styles and different. No, we good. We're good. Let it be.
Well, we're just going to trust that our listeners have a better understanding and are more open to their options of replying or responding back to I don't care when they hear it. We look forward to hearing any comments, suggestions, or like we said, questions you may have further about the discussion. And we hope that you guys are able to move past this mountain and into your promised land. Known as the dining room table.
You jokers are just going to move on to another mountain. I'm kidding.
Have a great week, everyone.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for joining us.